Hey, what's up, guys? I am here with Tito the One Barber, and we're here at his barber school, Illumination Barber School. I want to thank you, Tito, for letting me come out here speaking with you. I love what you do with the community. I've seen what you're doing as growing your brand, growing your business. But not other than that, you're a big mentor and big brother to these guys who are working underneath you and, doing their journey as far as entrepreneurship with becoming a barber themselves, man. Anytime I needed you in the past, whenever we did outreach in the community, you're there. A great father. I've noticed that, your son's out here, following in your footsteps, and what is your daughter now also? So, I mean, you're placing the seed out there for these youngsters to come out here and actually do something with themselves. And again, I want to thank you again. As far as a man of God, thank you for praying over me in the past, man, and I really appreciate that. And he's not just an interview, guys. He's actually my barber and a friend. So again, thank you very much for letting us do this today, man. And I want to just jump right into it like I always do. Tito, tell me about you, man. Where did you grow up at? Tell me a little bit about your past and how you came up.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Tito the One Barber here out of Southeast Houston. Born and raised Southeast Houston, just 2 exits down from here. Edgebrook, that's where I grew up at. And that's where my upbringing was at. I didn't get to finish high school because I dropped out and went out and did my things that got me in trouble. And that's where I ended up falling in love with barbering because I needed to do something that kept me off the streets, So
yeah, for sure.
I stayed behind the chair, and that's what kept me busy to stay away from the streets and stay me consistent to be cutting hair. And eventually I ended up opening a barbershop. I owned it for 7 years, and in that process of opening the barbershop, 2 years after I had graduated, I ended up getting sponsorship by a Clipper brand, and that's what allowed me to learn how to educate others. And I got to travel the world, still traveling. I've done 7 countries with them and many, many shows all over the States. So barbering has changed my life.
I know we spoke in the past, and I got a little insights. And before barbering, I know we spoke a while back about your first job. And what was actually your first job?
My first job, so I was a carpenter. Right? My father, at a young age, he made me go to work.
How old were you when you went to work for your back-breaking work?
I want to say 10 years old, 10 years old. It's summers. Hey, come on, gotta go to work. It was no staying in bed and what my kids do, play all night in games. We didn't have that luxury, but
they get to be up till 2 or 3 in the morning and waking up at noon.
Wake up at noon is different now, but back in the days, hey, got up and go to work. Yes, sir.
So that being said, like you said, growing up off Edgebrook, if you know Southeast Houston, if you know Houston, Edgebrook is not the nicest area. It's under poverty. It's real common for you just to have a mother and just a kid and the children, or even having. It's rare to have a father and a mom, which sounds like you had your dad right there as an authority figure to teach you what he knows. But again, we still fall off regardless of that, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of times. I'd say we do what we do because of our surroundings, because we think our friends are cool, whatever. But then you're able to use that and then turn it into what you do now. What was your very first, when you opened up your first shop, like how did you work? Were you just straight into opening the shop, or where were you working at before that?
No, there's 2 shops that I worked underneath, but I knew as soon as I graduated from barber college, I knew that I was going to open up a shop. So I was just trying to learn the ropes, how the system was being ran in the barber shop. So I made sure that I studied it well before I opened it up. Yes.
What was I want to ask a question. What was your major setback in your whole life, your whole career? Did you have a major setback whenever you were from teenager to now?
Absolutely. Like I said, being raised in that neighborhood, everybody has their choices. You make the choices, but we all fall off, like you said. And but I got up. God helped me, got up. But I ended up doing a 5-year sentence.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I got put up for 5 years, and in those 5 years times, I got to learn who I was supposed to be, right? And I said, hey, I can't go back out into reality,
of
into the
course.
real world, and do what I was doing. So I said, hey, I gotta educate myself. So I got my education in prison. Okay, I got my GED and I got some college hours as well. And I said, as soon as I get out, I'm gonna enroll barber school, and that's what I did.
So you didn't, which, not downplaying the guys out there who are complaining that they got out of prison, there's nothing to do. You took action, man. You
Absolutely.
took major action. You obviously put goals in place. Are you, would you say, goal oriented, or how would you define yourself with your
Oh,
goals, man?
absolutely. You have to have goals. You have to write them down. You have to pray about them, and just watch God manifest in your life. And that's something that I did, and I believe. And so far it's been going. It's been going
It's
good, man.
beautiful. So whenever you open let's fast forward to open your very first place, your very first shop. Where was it at?
Crosby, Texas.
So this young man here was out, and if you, in the I call it the boonies, out in the country. Crosby, Texas, got a population of 500 people, right? It's not, but how were you? How did you brand that? Brand it, or how were you able to get get successful? Of not being in the city metropolitan area, how did what would you say you were able to get that to be successful? Like, how were you able to blow that place
So the
up?
thing about small towns like that is that that town specifically will drive into Houston to look for a Houston service. We have the nice fades, the nice beards. So you go to a small town like that, they don't have the barbershops like that. They have some barbershops, maybe two or three at that moment, but they were, and no disrespect to elderly people, but they're just a little bit, old school.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So,
yes.
so you sit down and they give you what they want, and that's it. Shake your hands. They're that old. So now with all these haircuts trending, I say, you know what? I'm gonna take Houston to them. So I stopped all the people from going to Houston to look for that Houston experience, and just took it to Crosby, Texas, man.
And I always blow him up. I mean, I'm a huge supporter, brother. I support everything that you do. I got you on social media. I love your social media content. How did you become a barber to the stars?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
So all it takes is just one, man. It just takes one.
who's your very first one?
Floyd Mayweather was one that put me on the spot, and it was in the Vegas barber show. Thanks to his barber, Jackie, she let me, team up with her that day, and from there it's just that day, that event helped me in social media, where put me on the map for celebrities or whatnot, for them to hit me up, hey, come out here and stuff like that. So now I take care of artists when they come in Houston, and make sure they get cleaned up before their performance.
What are you allowed to name a couple of guys that you do now, or that you've
What's that?
done? What are some of the names?
Man,
that you've
just
done?
recently, Grupo Firme.
Oh, wow.
Grupo Firme is one of my favorite groups, my daughter's favorite groups too, and but it was great. It was here in Houston, the Toyota Center. That was the most recent one that I did, and the shows are fixing to start up. I know my good friend Fantasma is fixing to come in 2 weeks, so every time he comes in town, he stops by and makes sure we get the backstage passes and all that, man. But,
That's awesome,
yes,
man.
sir,
See,
yes, sir.
it's always good to have good connections.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
So now that we're in your shop, your first place, you brought Houston to Crosby. What, do you have any ups and downs there? That you had to go
No,
through or
absolutely
anything?
not. When I opened up shop over there, it was, I started at 500 feet. In 6 months, I had to double it up to 1,000 feet. A year later, I had to double it up to 4,000 square feet. So it just kept growing. And I owned it out there for 7 years. And then I sold it to one of my barbers there, OC. And now it's OC Shave Parlor. Mine was called Tito Shave Parlor. And he's doing a great job out there doing his thing, man. And I said, hey, it's time to venture off another way, and that's what I'm doing now. Opened up a barber school.
Well, yeah. How did that come about? It's actually
So like I said, I got sponsored by Babyliss, right, Clipper company, and they educated me how to educate others about clippers, about everything that has to do with the barber game. So when I became an educator for them, I started, educating all over the world, man. And I said, you know what? I need to do something here in my hometown. You know, people are hungry for education, and this zip code means a lot to me because this is where I dropped out. 77034. I dropped out of South Houston High School,
Wow. Okay.
and I dropped out in ninth grade, and I didn't get my education. I got it in the system. You know,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
got it in the system, and I said, man, I gotta do a school here and help people get licensed. Thank God we've been getting people licensed and starting them in the six-figure barber world.
Yeah.
That's exciting, man.
It's beautiful, man.
Yes,
It's
sir.
such a beautiful thing. Uh, Whenever you transitioned from the barber, your barber shop, you transitioned to the school. Uh, you know, was from going from that to this. Do you see more of a change in your what you have to do on a day-to-day basis here versus your barber?
Oh, absolutely. You
Is,
know, when you own a barbershop, you just go in and take care of your clients, you know, but owning a school is you got to come in making sure you're taking care of each student, you know, instead of each client. And then make sure you got all the paperwork doing because you know you're licensed by the state of Texas, you know, so they have they have their requirements for you to fulfill and make sure that you stay licensed, and you got to stay on top of that yearly. So you got to do a lot of paperwork, man. Yeah.
So I definitely want to jump into the business aspect now, right? I want to talk about branding. You've done a great job of branding yourself. And then now with branding yourself, to me, it's like you're your own company, branding yourself, marketing yourself. But now you market your business. But I want to talk about the part about you. What made you start branding yourself, or like how would you say you were successful to brand yourself? And what are some kinds of tips and tricks that maybe you can give these our watchers, what to do or what you've done for the success of branding yourself,
Yeah.
and why is it important to brand yourself?
Absolutely. Well, there needs to be a face behind a business, you know, and typically people are, I wouldn't say scared, but they are iffy to show their face, you know. So you have to be able to show your face for people to know who's behind the business. And now these days they want to see who you are, you know, especially as barbers. Instead of posting a picture of just a haircut, like come out with the haircut. That way they see who the barber is. So, of course, your face has a lot to do with branding. You have to show who you are, speak to the public. That way they know that, hey, you're comfortable to be in their establishment. You know, just to be open about anything. So, yeah, you have to show face behind the
And then
company.
let's talk about social media now. Your social media is authentic, and what I mean by this, guys, there's two ways of getting followers on social media. We all know there's a paid platform to get your followers, but then there's also what you call an organic reach as a platform to get your followers, and yours is definitely an organic reach. How did you get from 0 followers to over 100,000 followers? And I know it took you time, but what was your game plan to get that, and how did you get it done?
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, my business is just posting my haircuts, my services, you know, and then learning the algorithms, learning the social medias. What are they looking for? Of course, I'm not out here dancing, you know, like what TikTok be doing, but you have to get creative behind your business. So looking up at other businesses, what they're doing, what they're not doing, just creating your own algorithm for you to be authentic. And once people see that, how authentic you are and what services you're providing, and you're consistent with it, I mean, you're gonna start getting some followers. And since they know me as an international educator as well, like, you know, a lot of my followers are from different countries as well, you know, because, you know, as I travel, they get to know you and, you know, so they start following, they start showing you love. So all over the world, you know, you'll be known. So.
And Tito's very modest. What he means by traveling is, you're talking about South America, Brazil. I mean, you get to go all over the South.
Yes, sir.
They're all
Yes, sir.
international. Let's go back. I like to go back because what we're trying to do is want to educate our clients, like what can happen in opening a business, right? So let's go back to opening up your spot here. Let's just say you're billed out. Let's just, what was entail of you actually flipping the switch, the light on? Like, what did you do? Like, did you have a build out, or was it already built out, or did you have to deal with the city, or did you have to deal with any builders who want to come in here and not really do the work for you, or was it kind of a smooth transaction of actually opening your place
Yeah.
up? Because there's some hiccups sometimes,
Absolutely.
And what could those hiccups be that these guys need to look for? Like, what would be your to help them whenever, say, they're going to open up, whether it's a barber school, a barber shop, or an insurance agency or whatever. I mean, what do you think? What did you see whenever you opened up your spot dealing with little things?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do your homework. You got to do your homework, one thing, especially if you're opening inside the city. Take mine that I was out in Crosby, outside the city limits. So it's way, way different. So when I came in here, man, it's a lot of paperwork, inspections with the city, and a lot of things that have to happen. Like, you can't build nothing without it being inspected first. Like, everything has to be plumbing, electrical, like everything has to be. So it took some time, man. I got this building and I built it out myself, and
How was
a
it?
journey.
I know you're doing it yourself. Did you have anybody come in here to also help out? Like, what do you call it? Outside contractors come out? And did they do good, or did they mess
Oh
up?
no!
Did they mess up? Or
So the landlord provided their contractors, man, and the contractors, man, they didn't do a good job, man. So there's a lot of stuff that I had to redo and get some other people in here that were licensed and insured for them to pull permits to do things that needed to be done. And it's a learning experience, man. But here I am, man, going at it.
So that's important, like Tito said, is when you are doing your own location, in this bigger cities, you're gonna have to get permits. So these guys typically have to be licensed. Another thing too, the benefit of them having being licensed and insured, the major thing is being insured. With being insured, I'm plug this in real quick. If they get hurt, that means that they're covered. If they break something, that means that they're covered in your location. So that's why the city wants to make sure that they're insured. And also, when somebody takes the time to get insurance for their business, it's because they're they're not just a mom and pop or just shade tree, whatever, right? So now you went through that. Now you had to step up yourself, do the work yourself, which, I mean, that's your trade. It was amazing. There's a beautiful place here. So going from there is, now you're a business. Now you're a true business. Now you're a true school. Paperwork, taxes. How did you just figure this out, or did you have somebody actually help you out on the way, or did you do research like we all do, or?
Yeah, it's all in the research, man. It's all that you seek, you'll find, and that's one of the things that you have to do your homework, but especially when it comes to business. It's different taxes, different insurances, everything changes. So it's something that you have to do your research on, man.
So then now you're a businessman now. You start out as a barbershop owner. This is your business now because you have employees, typical true employees, and you're building a foundation. So then from there you had to transition to becoming taxes. You had to contracts, everything. So now you're doing very well. I mean, we have our ups and downs like everybody else, but now you're steady coming in. Now I want to jump into your branding. Again, I'm jumping into branding today. If I don't know, it's a branding day. Now you're picked up by Babyliss. How many companies are picked you up?
So right now I'm sponsored by two, Babyliss and Rolla. Okay, so they're two. One of them is a clipper company, the other one's a hair product company. So those are the companies that hire me to go travel and educate on their products. So they're the ones that keep me busy, and then of course the school keeps me busy. We're educating here 24/7, making sure that the students that come here, they get licensed.
So you have your different levels of barbers, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have your typical. I mean, I'm not going to disrespect any typical barber, but it's a typical barber. Then you have your high-end barber, which gets XYZ as they grow like in the business, and then you have like you, bro. Like you went through your phases. What is your advice, and what is your advice to these guys to how to get to that level?
Just they have to stay consistent. They have to stay consistent no matter slow days, busy days. You have to continue to push the art that you believe in and believing in yourself. A lot of people are scared to believe in yourself because they're looking at what they're seeing at the moment, but not or what they could become. So just believing in yourself, man, that's going to get you farther and farther. And it's difficult because we live a life that what we see, that's what it is. But you have to believe in what you want to see in order for you to get where you want. So
What did how does God play a part in your role for your life in your business?
he has he has everything to do with it. I was gonna say a lot, but he has everything to do with it because when I was in the system, I wrote down everything what I wanted to do, and he fulfilled that list, and much more. You know, I didn't see myself owning a school and helping others and their future. So it's something that he took a big part of, and I give him all the credit, and I still continue to trust in him to keep me as a disciplined, wise businessman for the community.
And then, what is your advice for before? I'm sorry, guys. Before we close out, what is your advice to everybody out there chasing their dreams?
Okay. So, like I said, believe in yourself, believe in your dream, believe in your vision, and stay consistent with that faith you have. No matter what you see, no matter how bad it gets, stay consistent with your faith. And you will see God manifold his glory in your vision and your dreams. And I would say sky's the limit, but God's the limit, and he has no limit. So you'll be surprised at what he'll give you as you believe in him.
All right, guys. Well, man, I really appreciate the time with you. This is definitely not my last interview with you because I want to get out more marketing strategies with you. And our next time we sit down with you, this is just, to me, it was just an introduction out. But I do want to love to get back here and get your marketing strategies because they're phenomenal, guys. You're going to check out the links underneath here. Check out his Instagram. Check out his Facebook. Check out his TikTok. That's going to be on the bottom. Check out his content, guys. It's amazing content. He already spends time on content to post and to do his thing, guys. All right, guys. Well, y'all be blessed.